morning, Roxy Soxy.
A good nighty night time here, Miss Tam. How you doing?
How's your day been?
It's good. It's, the Tuesday gauntlet is the dance class.
Taco Tuesdays.
You know it. Hashtag dance mom. I'm like,
do you have tacos on Tuesday?
I mean, I might as well just throw that in too. Just have Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it's a full day this Tuesday. It's a lot of shit.
I know you have dance.
Tell me how tomorrow is.
I know, because I'm on Wednesday morning. So I actually had a full meltdown this morning because I've been working here and we've been, when you film, it's like always so early. It's like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And so I wanted to sleep in a little bit, but I think my husband and I have such bad communication that his sleep in is 10 fucking 30 a.m. He let me sleep till 10 a.m. I woke up, I'm like, what the fuck? The entire day is over in Los Angeles. When I wake up, it's like, that's when I do my emails and all the things because you guys are ready. It's fucking 6 o'clock. Yeah. Right. And I freaked out. I was like, Sean, 10:30 is not a sleep in. That is when you're drunk in your 20s and you stay up till 5 a.m. in the morning and you're still high. Like, then don't wake me. But 10:30 is not a sleep in. So I woke up at 10:30. I was like, fuck, I was so much to do. So anyway, then he was like, he goes, do you know what would save all your problems? I'm like, what? Therapy? He goes, an alarm clock. He goes, a fucking alarm clock. And I was like, oh yeah, that's probably true. I should just get an alarm clock. Like, why am I waiting for him to wake me up?
Oh my God, but you must feel fucking amazing right now.
No, I feel tired.
You're like, I've gotten a taste of the sleep and now I want more.
I was like in a coma. Like I woke up from a coma. So yeah.
Oh my God, I'm jealous. I need some of that. Can you send it my way?
Yes, I will send you this. But our next guest, I don't think she's ever tired. Do you think she's ever tired? Because every time I see her.
Yeah, she has so much energy. Like if you watch her, like her social media and everything, like I love watching her because she, what she does so well? She does that like super animated stretchy face like Jim Carrey does.
Oh my God, it's
where
so
she's
good.
just like,
and then I tried to do it once in one of my videos and I just looked like so odd and strange. And I was like, fuck.
Only a supermodel can do it, apparently.
I know. And then I was talking to her about this 5 seconds ago, but like sometimes, when you're like in a bad place and you're like, you know what, let's look at Instagram and let's like compare my life to like everyone else who's like fucking fabulous and funny. And I always end up on her page and I'm like, because she's so good. And I don't understand, like, and this is what we'll talk about in this podcast is like where she gets her ideas from and where that and does her and her partner who do a lot of these funny videos together, do they fight through it? Because I feel like in my household, I'm like, it's time to create content, Sean. And he's like, fuck. And I'm like, just why aren't you standing on your mark correctly? Like, just so mean.
Oh yes, I can't wait to delve in. We've got to hear all the stuff from her.
Yeah. So who do we have, Roxy Soxy?
So we have the one and only Arielle Vandenberg.
Hi. If you don't know her, then you guys are living under a rock. So,
well, you're in for a treat if you don't know who I am, baby. Oh my gosh, that introduction was, I felt my face getting really hot.
Good.
Thank you.
Because it's cold in your house. So you've got some room to move with your warmth.
You're wondering if anybody's wondering why I'm bundled up like a teddy bear. I'm frozen in my house right now, but also, I got a coat, so I'm good. No, I really appreciate that warm welcome. And I'm so excited to be talking to you ladies. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're
excited.
excited.
We put on lipstick. We put on lipstick today. Yesterday, we were in a mom bond, weren't we, Rox?
Yes. I even went so far as to put on concealer today too.
Oh, well, you
concealer. And underwear. I bet she put on underwear too.
I did. I put on underwear today. Arielle, nice. Special. I know.
Thank you so much for doing that for me.
I mean, I just put on the same underwear, but it was back to front. So I feel like it's clean. So I feel like that's just as nice.
Yeah. You're winning. You're still winning. You
are still winning. Oh yeah.
So Arielle, tell us a little bit. Okay. So I've, stalked you for many years and I've manifested you into this podcast. So thank you.
My alarm is going off. I'm so sorry. Dear God. Okay.
Well, at least it was this early this morning. It would have helped me out. So yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Your husband's like, is that her alarm?
So you grew up in Los Angeles, right? And Los Angeles. So I've lived in, Roxy's been there for a long time. We've been there probably, I don't know about you, Roxy. I think I've been there like 16 years. Mm-hmm. And growing up in Los Angeles, like for me, I'm at this place with Los Angeles where I really love it, but then I don't know if it really serves me right now as much as I want it to when it comes to like, like we were talking about before, like comparison and like, feeling like there's a lot of smoke and mirrors and finding that authenticity. And so for me, like we've taken a little bit of a jump away from LA and we'll go back to the States in the next few months. And then we're going to figure out like where we want to live. But growing up in Los Angeles, how does it feel as you've grown into your 30s being like a native? And like, do you love the city as a whole? And has it like made you to get where you are? Or is there kind of like a love-hate relationship with it?
Okay. First of all, I'm just going to say, I love LA. Like I love it. I love living here. I love California. I mean, I'm just like such a Cali girl in my giant jacket. But I am such a Cali girl. And also like, I feel like LA people get a bad rap because the people that claim LA are usually the people that aren't even like born and raised here.
Right.
And so those people like make the real people from here look like assholes. And I'm like, the people that are actually from here are so dope. And the people that like I grew up with and that I still love today, like some of my best friends that I've been friends with since I was like 16, like they're still in my life and they're amazing people. But I think, yeah, definitely growing up here it's a different life. I mean, my fiance is from Portland and it's like so different, like nature, I'm like not a nature person and he's teaching me how to love nature. I mean, I do love nature, but like I was more of a beach girl. Like I never like went to the forest,
Right.
So, but anyways, yeah, I think growing up here, there's a lot of like shit that you just like grow up around it. So you're like, yeah, whatever.
You accept it. Yeah.
You accept it because it's like, it's your life. I don't know. But I've always wanted to like be an actress. And so it was a perfect place to grow up because growing up, like you said, I make Jim Carrey faces. I mean, he is my idol. I freaking love him. And he is like the real reason why I feel like I'm even in this business and doing what I love doing. So I was, ready to get into it because I live here. So it's perfect.
Yeah.
So what is, because we have those, you see those on those websites and things on Instagram and on social media, like overheard in LA and, things said in LA at like Erewhon or what have you. So what is the most LA thing about you?
Oh, that's a good question.
Right?
Oh my God. Wow. That's a great question. Shit. What is the most LA thing about me? I wish I would have thought about this earlier. Because I could probably think of a bunch. I don't know if this is an LA thing or just like a me thing, but like I am a germaphobe. And like I feel like that's kind of an LA thing.
Yeah.
And I think, and I don't know why it is, but like everybody that I know that's from LA is a germaphobe. I swear.
Interesting.
COVID doesn't help either. Cause now I'm like, oh my God, every 2 seconds washing my hands. Like
totally. It totally doesn't help. But I also have been like wearing gloves since I was born. So like, I don't even like, that doesn't even faze me. Like when people were wearing gloves, I'm like, what were you doing before this? Like I've been wearing gloves at the gas station for years. Like what have you been doing? So, I mean, it was definitely COVID sucked for a germaphobe, but at the same time I was like fully prepared. I'm like, you guys need gloves. You need some wet wipes. You need some hand sanitizer. Like
I've been saving these for 10 years.
I have like all the packs. Like people are like calling me for freaking N95 masks or whatever they're called.
Like I already got those.
I'm like, I already have them. I wear those on planes for months before this.
Oh yes.
I know.
I think Los Angeles. I think Los Angeles for me is like, like I love the healthy living and I love the healthy lifestyle and I feel like
that actually I should have said that because like I am that person. I'm like, don't you dare spray a Clorox around me, like
all natural.
Yes, right. I'm like Branch Basics. I'm like, if Matt sprays Lysol, I can smell it from a mile away and I have to leave the house. Like
I do too. I get allergies.
I'm like, I'm out. I'm staying somewhere else.
But I guess for me, it's like for me, what takes my soul a little bit in Los Angeles. And maybe that's just a Tamman thing, not a Los Angeles thing. And maybe that again is something I need to talk about in therapy, is the comparison. I feel like when I got to Los Angeles when I was 20 years old, right? So, I'd come from a country where I had worked as a child actor, and then I came to the States and I had to start over. And it was a very easy to fall into that comparison about my life is not as good as this person's life, because Los Angeles does have, and again, I don't want to give Los Angeles a bad rap because I loved it. I lived there for 16 years, but I feel like there is this kind of keeping up with the Joneses. And what I was doing when I was 20 is like, I was buying cars or like renting cars that I couldn't afford. And like, I was constantly like, getting hair extensions, whatever it was that comparison. And I feel like sometimes that can seep into our work as well. And so my question is like, what you do, especially creating videos and being in the comedy field, do you find yourself comparing yourself to a lot of people? And does that affect your mental health? Does it affect you to compare yourself?
I mean, to an extent, yes. And like, I wouldn't be human if it didn't. Like, I feel like that always, like, everybody has those moments of like, oh my gosh, like that person's better than I am, or, oh, is that person funnier or whatever. But it's also like, I gotta say, like, I feel very lucky that I never really let that kind of stuff get to me. And I'm so lucky that it didn't, because that is so normally the name of the game. Like,
right.
And I don't know why. I don't know. I'm so glad that I didn't have that experience. And I'm sorry that you did, because I know a lot of people do. And I think what happened with me was I grew up doing ballet and auditioning for like dance recital type things, and like constantly kind of being rejected, but like in a good way, where it's like a healthy way, where I was like, oh, I didn't get that part. Okay, on to the next thing. I was like, I kind of grew up with like a bit of rejection from different like angles of like ballet, or, not being accepted into like this certain class or whatever for whatever I was doing, cheerleading or whatever. And I feel like I always took it really well. So when I ended up coming to LA as an adult and like, living my passion, I didn't let that stuff get to me, because I just was used to it. And I think when you're not used to it and you come into it as a 20-year-old, like that's got to be gnarly. So for me, I was definitely more like, I just was used to it. And modeling, I started modeling it when I was like 14, and you're just rejected on a regular basis. You're literally told, no, you didn't get it. You didn't get it. You didn't get it. You didn't get it. You're told you didn't get it literally every day. Right. So, and I just was like, dope. Who got it? Oh my God, that's so cool. And I actually was genuinely just like, okay, cool. Because I was already excited to just like be doing what I like doing. And I knew it was going to work out. And I grew up, like religious and like believing in God and believing that like whatever I was meant to be doing was going to come when it was meant for me and my path. And I truly just like really trust that path and that moment for me. And I just kind of live day to day being like, yeah, I know everything's going to work out. So I don't try to dwell on those things, but I would be not human if it didn't happen sometimes. It does. Yeah. I mean, it just does. It seeps in and you're like, don't do that. It's true though. And like, I can't even imagine coming to a place like LA where everybody is like, bougie feeling, and they're actually not. Like, they're actually not bougie, but like they treat you like they're bougie, and you're like, you need to get away from me. I just can't.
That's just my new word, bougie, from today.
It's so cool because it kind of sounds like you were manifesting without really knowing it, like you were manifesting your future because you kind of knew that it was going to happen, or like that you were going to go somewhere, continue your journey, but without really saying it, right? Like, just
I love that
there, right?
Yeah, I do love that. I think like I owe a lot of like thanks and gratitude to my parents for like being very supportive and telling me that I can do whatever I want. And like, they truly, I'm an only child, so all of their attention was given to me, which was awesome, but also annoying. But like, they truly were like, oh, you want to be an actress? You can be an actress. Oh, you want to be a stand-up comedian? Of course, go do it. Like they were very encouraging, and I just like owe a lot to them being so supportive. Because if it weren't for that, I mean, who knows what I would be doing, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, because we talk about manifestation so much, and
yeah,
when I'm in that good place of manifestation, and like sometimes I don't believe it, but I just say that I believe it, and at some point, it's almost like you trick your brain into believing it,
right.
And then all these amazing things start happening. But then I start to get into this like funky area, and it's like attracts like. So when I'm in that funky area, it's like those thoughts start to sort of connect with other thoughts that you think about yourself, and it starts to affect like how you feel and like what you put out there in this energy. But what you're saying is like something that I want to be doing more on a regular basis. And something that I want to ask both of you is like, when it comes to aging for me, because I've been in this business for so long, and what you look like does matter. Like it does. I don't care what anyone says. They can be like, oh, we embrace aging. I don't think we've fully embraced aging yet. And yet we're, when you do work and it's Botox and it's fillers, then we kind of frown upon that. And then when you don't do something, then we frown upon that too. I think women are in this really difficult like place of what to choose. But like aging, like I'm not cool with it, and I would like to be. Like I'm not cool with my face changing, and I would like to be more accepting with like, oh, and I say this to all my, like, I'm like, yeah, like the crow's feet, they're beautiful because it means I lived a life. Like, I'm like, I don't fucking feel that way. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm not thinking, oh, it's beautiful because my stomach is, oh, it's so nice that it's pudgy because I birthed a baby. I don't feel that way. I feel the opposite of that way, but I want to feel gratitude.
It like bums me out that you say that because like, well, first of all, both of you, I mean, you're the one that's talking right now, so I'm going to speak to you, but like you are like so freaking beautiful and look like you're 12 years old. Like
with wrinkles, a 12-year-old wrinkled girl.
Bro, you look like a 14-year-old and like and in a good way, like your skin is like porcelain.
I think I'm by a window. I think it's the window light right now.
It doesn't matter. You've got youth in your heart, which brings it to your eyes and your face and your smile. Like all that shit matters. You can be freaking 60. And if you're like having fun and dancing and being dope, like you're 12. It's perfect.
But do you really believe that? Do you really look in the mirror as you get older and you're like, hey, I'm cool with my face aging?
Well, obviously I'm like, whoa, that wasn't there before. And I notice it, like I'm not blind to it, but I also am like, well, I got my dude, love him. He loves me. Like, I don't need to like, I don't know. I get what you're saying. Trust me.
Yeah.
Like,
Roxy, how do you feel?
I mean, when I see the new wrinkles or the crow's feet, I'm not thrilled either. It's kind of like, fuck, but I'm sort of like on this fence. Now, I have not done like the injectables and Botox and fillers yet, and I'm not against it. Like I would, I'm sure I'll end up doing it at some point.
That's how I feel.
Right? Yeah. Like you're kind of like, I'm kind of skating on this line where I'm like, is it the time now? Like, I'm kind of like, do I jump now or do I wait?
When that stuff makes you happy, then you do it. Like, if it's like bumming you out, then no, just wait until
like a witch next time you see me. But do you think that your value as a woman, and this is what I was talking about with my husband the other day, I said women at some point start to become invisible, just starts to happen. So what we do is we are afraid of that, right? So what we do is we inject ourselves because we don't want to be invisible. We want to look youthful. And I said, why? And my husband's very analytical with certain things, and he says it's because women at a certain point don't, like if you're looking at like biologically, they don't breed after a certain point, right? So if you're looking at animals and biologically, men want to spread their seed, and at a certain point, women are not spread seedable. like at some point, there's no that person's not going to have a child, right? So for a male, they're constantly, if you're looking at biologically, they're constantly looking for that thing to keep creating the next generation. Like biologically, that's what they're looking for. And so we as women are like, well, we want to still look spread seedable. So we are putting all the things in our face to look younger. So we feel more attractive. But at some point, women, like, do you feel like we lose our value once we lose our looks.
I mean, I think that our value, I mean, it's going to sound like kind of cliche, but I do think we own our value. So if we feel like shit about ourselves, and if we feel like, you know, we need all these external things, and excuse me, maybe we go even a little overboard with them, I think that devalues us. But I think if you're okay with, like, truly okay, you know, in your heart with, like, aging gracefully, you know, letting life happen as it happens, and, you know, having that power within yourself, I think it's, you know, I think you have the value. And I think it doesn't really matter, because you know what, that value is going to radiate, like, that's going to be your energy, right? So if you feel like you truly have the value, it kind of doesn't matter. You can walk into a room full of men, if that's like the kind of audience we're talking about, and own it. And you can just be like, dude, I fucking rock, you know?
But it's great in theory, but society doesn't see it that way. Like in certain cultures, absolutely. Like when you're in, you know, many other cultures, as you get older, that is regarded and revered. But in our culture is kind of like, we don't take care of us. I see my mom, she just wrote a book and it's called I'm now called a senior, what the fuck? And like, that's the title of the book. Cause she's like, wait a second, like I'm not seen in society. I'm not taken care of as we get older, especially as women. So my question is like,
it's never thought about that like that at all.
Because we're not old enough yet.
Yeah, totally. I mean, totally. But I mean, to go back on like what Roxy just said, I feel like, you know, you're not just your looks. Like you are so much more. You are your heart, you are your brain, you are your intelligence. Like you are incredible. Like life itself is incredible, right? So like yes, like looks go away, but if you still have your joy and your happiness, like that is more beautiful than a beautiful face. Like, I mean, a joyful human, I can't think of a more sexy thing than like a smile, or like a more confident thing than a smile. So if you see like an old man smiling and he's obviously not hot, he's like an old man, I'm like, that is a beautiful man right there. Look at him. Like he's enjoying his life. He is truly like rocking his life, you know, like that's cool. And that's actually that's hot. And to me, like, I mean, I don't have a type of like, when I think of the people I've dated, I'm not like, oh, they all look alike or something. They all smile a lot. And like, that to me is like so important. And I smile a lot. And I think that like, it's just a thing that, I don't know, it feels like that's how you live, is like, you're just, when you really like live with joy, and like, then you don't age as harshly. And then you see those people that have like a scowl and they're just like, meh. Those people do not look joyful, and they don't look like they're not confident. They feel like kind of scary to be around, you know, like, and that sucks to say, because like that could just be their life and, you know, that their face, I don't know. But like, if you just crack a smile on there, it would change the whole thing. Like,
so I totally agree with you. I do think though that there needs to be more stories told of like, you know, we need to go to cinemas and see women who are older. We see their bodies, like their real bodies, like, you know, as much as I think, as much as I think that Sex and the City is not the best show to watch, like it's really nice that most of the characters there are 57, they haven't had work done. Like I want to see more of those stories told. And I think it starts with that. It starts with society, like putting older women on like a billboard. And when I say older, like even 40s, 50s, whatever, put a 6-year-old up there. But like, if we're showing that out in society, because they actually say that what shapes us first is society. As much as we think it's ourselves, it isn't. The world shapes us before we actually shape ourselves. And so if we're showing more of those stories, like showing more women who are aging and like real bodies, like Kate Winslet, she did that TV show and she was like, no, I'm going to show what it looks like after I have kids with my stomach. I think if we see more of that, then when we look at ourselves, we don't compare as much. Like if I know my social media, if I saw less people filtered, I would feel better. Like I sometimes use a filter, and I use filters on the days that I don't like myself, right? Or I don't like what I look like. But if I don't feel like I would feel that way if I saw everyone's blemishes and wrinkles and sagging skin. If everyone was doing the same thing, then I think it would feel more safe in that.
You know, what's so crazy is like, you know, when you see, and you just hit the nail on the head. Cause like I was watching something last night. What was I watching? And Emily in Paris. Have you watched Emily in Paris?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a scene in Emily in Paris where they're like all at that spa, and they're like all their tits are just hanging out, right? Me personally, if I had to do that scene, I would be so self-conscious. Like there was one specific shot where I thought to myself, wow, she looks hot, right? Okay. I was like, but if I was sitting like that, I would not feel hot. But then I thought she looked hot. So I was like, well, then if I was sitting like that, then I would, then maybe people would think that I was hot. And so I was comparing my naked body to her naked body, but we don't even have the same body.
Right.
And I'm just like, but it's just because I'm like, well, I would feel so, but that's also acting. And it's also like the role that she was playing, and she was comfortable with getting naked on camera, which like a lot of people are, and maybe I'm just like, I'm not there yet. And so, I mean, depending on the role,
like if they pay me enough money and it was with Brad Pitt, then I can get one boob.
I was literally going to say if it was with Brad Pitt, my
right boob is the best one. So we'll show that one.
We'll just turn this way. But it is so true. It's like when you see someone else doing it and you don't think anything of it, if you see someone without a filter or something, you don't even think twice. You're just like, oh, that's their skin, that's their face. You're like, cool. Like, but then when you see them with a filter, you're like, whoa, hot. It's like, no, that's like some fake ass shit. I don't know. It's so weird. Like the world is weird right now.
Yeah. It's so fucking weird. I know. And I'm glad you like brought up filters too, because that is always kind of, we talk about it. We talk about how much we use them, how much we don't use them. What are your thoughts on filters on social media? Like, are you a fan? Do you like using them? Like, you only use them sometimes? Yeah.
I love the Paris filter. Like,
she's like, I love them. I look amazing. But you can tell. That's the thing. I feel like every time I see a filter, I get so mad, even though I use filters half the time. I use them half the time because I'm like, half the time people need to see like a reality. But I get so mad. I'm like, oh, that person doesn't look like that. Like, and it makes me frustrated, but yet I use them.
Well, because it's fun. Who cares? Like, I think that like, if you're using them to like catfish people, that's a different story. Right. If you're using them because you're like, oh, this makes me feel good. Like if you're wanting to tell a story in the morning and you just woke up and you have snot in your nose, like, like throw a filter on, feel good about yourself and go about your day. I don't think that it's like that damaging unless you're like meeting people online and you're like truly just like catfishing everyone you meet. That to me is like gnarly. And I've seen it happen. But
I think it's sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, go for it.
I was going to say, I think it's more like, so Roxy and I, we have 3 girls between the 2 of us. Now girls are young. And I see my daughter so I had my first daughter in my 20s and, I see her now she's 8. Now she's like, oh, I want to like be on camera. Like I want to do a YouTube show. I want to do all these things. And it's like, I'm scared about her self-worth because, she's beautiful, but she's also seeing other girls that are like unattainable beautiful, which is like, because these filters are so intense now, they change this, they change your lip shape, they change your nose shape. And by the way, who decides what is beautiful? Like, why is a smaller nose and bigger lips always considered beautiful?
Yeah.
And so I worry about her as young girls, like the next generation. Like I think there's gonna be a full like, we're done, let's all show reality, or it's going to go so far the other way where like nothing's real. I think at some point this next generation is going to make a stand either way.
I think you're right on the side that they're going to like they'll want to be more natural. Like, have you noticed like the TikTokers, oh my God, Arielle, the TikTokers of today are like posting these photo dumps and they're all blurry and like their zits are showing and like, they're like, you know what I mean? You like scroll their carousels on Instagram and I'm like, what a random photo to put, like half your eye is open, but like, but for some reason it's like cool. So like, I think it's like going that way.
Yeah. I hope so. And there's also like varying degrees of filters, there's like a smooth skin filter, or there's like a filter that literally changes like your eye shape, your nose, your lips, right?
No, like the Paris filter. That's the one I'm obsessed with. Just like makes you look like this wouldn't be red, but you would still see the bumps.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like it's the one swipe. It's not like a filter.
I do love the pillow face one though. Have you seen the pillow face one where it's like,
oh gosh.
It's like the cat. Is it like the cat lady?
Catwoman. Yes.
Catwoman. Yeah.
Yes.
That one's insane.
That's like a whole other character when you use that filter. You have to like create like the story behind it. Right.
So true. I wonder if mental health in general, because I think that mental health is so bad right now, especially since COVID, would be better if these social media platforms just banned all that stuff.
1000%.
I mean, I don't know if they would, because people might not want to be on stories. I know I probably would want to be on stories less, but I wonder if, mental health would just skyrocket because we're all just seeing each other for what we are, and that's what we're talking about, like aging and feeling beautiful as you age. And, maybe we wouldn't be thinking about needing Botox or whatever, because we'd be like, oh, everyone looks like this.
What's the scariest part of aging to you?
Well, this goes deep into my therapy. So I'm so sorry for everyone who's listened to the story like a few times, but I was like 200 pounds as a kid, and I lost weight. Yeah, I was very teased and bullied through most of my childhood, and then I lost the weight, and within 4 months I was on a TV show as like, the it girl, like in Australia. I was on like 180 magazine covers by the time I was 21, face of Pepsi, face of L'Oreal. I had an album, and all that happened within. So I was this girl who was teased and told that I wasn't good enough. And then within like 6 months, my whole perception changed. And I was told that, oh, you're cute and you're this. And then the boys didn't like me, would throw rocks at my head. And then all of a sudden they wanted to date me. Whoa. So my thing is like, whoa. So that moment in my life, which is around 15, changed everything. Oh, so my value was based in work, is working and looks, right? So it was like, stay small, stay slim, stay looking a certain way, stay looking young, because I had no value being this way. Then I got so much value to the point where not even like normal value, like, oh, that person went on a health kick and like got some value. I was like literally on the cover of a magazine within 4 months of losing weight. And I thought, oh, I have to stay small. I have to stay this way to be worth something. Right. So that takes years of like going, really digging through that, and then having children and going like, nothing's the same after you have kids and your body changes. Right. And so that is what I work through on a daily basis. Some days are good, some days are bad, but that's because my worth is linked to that. And that is deep. Like that,
I would have had no idea.
Yeah. I feel like it's such a pivotal age too. 15 is like, you're like mortified already just in general. Right?
Just like, to live. Like you're just terrified of living.
Exactly. You're like, what am I doing? And I thought it was really interesting because we had Tori Spelling come on here, and she was saying that, especially with people in the public eye and like actors, that they usually like the emotional development. And I'm not saying this is with Tammin, just in general, she was saying.
Thanks, Roxy. I'm a 15-year-old to you.
You're a 15-year-old forever.
I stomp out.
She said that like a lot of the people that she knew, like whenever that age was that they got really famous, is where they like the emotional development stopped. So it's like, that's where they're sort of locked in time emotionally. Wow. So it's an interesting prospect. But I don't, Tammin, you've done a lot of work on yourself. So I don't think you're locked into like a 15-year-old, like development.
I kind of am.
I'm like,
but enough about me. Let's ask some more questions to Arielle, because I have lots of questions. You're getting steamy, so you're taking your jacket off.
She's like,
I'm warming you up.
Wait, so
it got really hot.
Tell us about this Vine love story of you and Matt. I mean, it's kind of like so perfect for the time we're in too. It's like a Vine love story. Tell us about it.
Well, okay. So here's the thing. Matt and I actually met in 2006 when he moved to LA from Portland. And we were really good friends for a really long time, even before Vine started. And then, but how everybody knows us, like people, it does look like we kind of like were a Vine relationship, but that's where our friendship truly like blossomed, like where we were like super creative together and making Vines together and whatnot. But we've known each other since 2006, became super close. I forced him to I started doing Vine, and then I forced him to like be in all my videos because he's so funny. And then I had a boyfriend back then, and like he had a girlfriend. And so we were just totally friends back then. And then I forced him to get a Vine, and then he started making his own Vines with all these people, and I was getting jealous. And I was like, they're stealing my co-star. Anyways, and my co-star.
They're like, I might as well date him so no one else can use him.
Kind of.
Smart move.
Yeah, smart. So yeah, but then we were just always in other relationships and just stuck, to being friends. And then he professed his love for me. And I was like fresh out of a very crazy relationship that I was like super heartbroken from. And so it was like not the time to tell me that someone loved me, because I was like, oh shit, well, I can't give you the same like love that you deserve. So I basically had to say that. And weirdly, it was just like all timing, to be honest. And it took us about 4 years to actually start dating after the love was professed. And now
4 years after the professed love.
I know. I know.
Mine was one night. I was like, well, you're here.
Yeah.
Just take my clothes off. You said you loved me.
Quick turnaround.
I mean, here's the thing, like, and I can kind of like sum it up like this, is he was truly my best friend, my closest person to me in LA. And it was like, you either date that person and get married to that person, or you like you can't just date your best friend. You can't. Yeah. You either are marrying them or you're never talking to them ever again. And so I was like, okay, can we just like keep it here for a second while I get over my like heartbreak, which I was doing. And then my heartbreak didn't last for 4 years, but it just really had to fall in line. Like the timing of it all, I was just not ready to get married. And he wasn't the person that you just casually date. Once with him and I started dating, it was like, oh, it's on, like I'm marrying this person,
Right.
which is what I knew was going to happen. And I'm glad that I didn't jump into it before, because it would have been the wrong timing for me as a human being. I needed time to like be an adult and like just be, I don't know. I needed time to be single pretty much. And like, just realize what I actually was looking for in a person. And then once I realized that it was smacking me in the face for the last 10 years, I was like, oh,
there
it is. And just, and I was like,
sex for the first time must have been so like awkward. Like not awkward, but like you've known them for so long, and then it's like, now you're naked. Like, oh my gosh.
It's so funny is like our first kiss wasn't when we were dating. Like we kissed before we started dating.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. It was like maybe God, I don't even know the timeline, but doesn't matter. We weren't dating and we kissed one night, and I was like, what is happening? Because I was confused. I think we were both just very confused and like didn't know like if we liked each other. I don't know. It was when it wasn't as awkward as people would think. It was just confusing.
Yeah.
It wasn't awkward
for so long, and now
they
are.
Yeah. But it was like, I'm like, okay, cool. We had to get that out of the way. And then we still didn't date for years.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't even know. It was crazy.
So like you obviously like knew he was the one going into it. Like, so how did the engagement go down? Was it like,
okay,
special?
It was literally the best day of my life. So Matt and I still haven't told this story, and
until now, everyone, until now, this is an exclusive.
I wish I could give it to you, but my God, our podcast would literally kill me. We have a podcast, and they've been waiting to hear it, and I keep going, next episode, and I just like, I don't know. There's something so special about the day and the story that like it's so sacred. Like I want to keep it sacred. But now that I've had time to like have it be just my thing, I'm so ready to like have it be everybody else's thing.
Yeah.
But you'll have to hear it when I tell it later. With him. He has to be with me.
Okay. We'll have you guys back on.
Yeah.
We'll have you back on together.
Yeah. I would love to, honestly. It was like the biggest surprise of the freaking world.
Okay, you were surprised when it happened. You were surprised.
I've never been so surprised in my life. Like I thought that the day was for somebody else. Like I thought we were celebrating something else and for someone else. So I'll say that it was like, it was the most surprised you can get because I thought I was surprising someone.
Yeah.
And then I was being surprised and I was like, wait. And so my brain was like scrambled eggs. I was like, who am I? I'm like, who are you? What are we doing in this place? Where am I? Like, it was fucking crazy.
Oh, that's the best. I love
you kind of knew, didn't you? Like Roxy, did you know? I mean, we got married in Tel Aviv and Israel, and I was like, we lost our bags. And so
wait, why were you there?
We travel so much, and we just
I love Tel Aviv.
Wanted to go to Jerusalem. I love Tel Aviv. Jerusalem was amazing.
Oh, I've been. I love it.
Like the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Wailing Wall, the Dome on the Rock. It just was all amazing.
The most special, like there's such a there's such an energy and like spiritual. Oh my God, it's so
we believe
cool.
in God and believe
so cool.
Walked the earth. So
we love Jesus. Jesus reigns, lady.
Jesus. The podcast is going to be like, we love Jesus. I'll be like, this is a totally different podcast. Jesus loves us. But we lost a lot of bags. So he was dressed in my father's clothes and smelled like my father. And it was super weird because I'm like, I'm marrying my dad, but that's okay because I love my dad and he's so nice and cool. So that's cool. But I just felt like I just knew it was going to happen. It was around it before fucking social media and before I didn't have an iPhone. I definitely didn't have an iPhone. So like I have one blurry picture of me going, I'm like, that's it.
When you got engaged.
So I have no video, no nothing. Nothing. Yeah.
So for
the memories,
for me, it happened in Miami, and I didn't know. I was like, I thought we were going down there for like a work event, like situation. So what he had done, he had been like, pre-planning it, and he cleared out the beach of the hotel that we were staying at. So like there was nobody on the beach. It was so fun. And I just like went down there and he was like, just make sure you have your nails done. And I'm like, why?
What?
Why do you care what my nails
What am I doing with my nails?
And then
girl, I wish I would have been told that because I had full like garden talons. Like I had my like dirt under my nail. I was like Schmeagol and the Ring. I was like it was gnarly.
Oh my God, I love it. So he did also tell me, like, thank God, because I look like a puffer fish. He was like, why don't you put a little, like, you might want to have a little dab of something. And at first I was like, you're just a fucking asshole. Or I'm like, this is so weird. So
you're like, I hate you. I'm leaving.
Like, I'm done with you. So we go down to the beach. He had like the whole thing set up on one of those beach, like daybed things, had like champagne. And like all this stuff set up. So we were sitting there. It was really cute. And I was just like, oh God, something.
Did you, so you knew at that point, or you
knew
something was happening?
I kind of knew at that point, but he was so nervous. He like popped the bottle of champagne. So we're like drinking the champagne. We're both like, I see him like, throw back like 3 right when we get down there. So I'm like, okay, something's going to go down. And the only person that was on the beach was this guy that was kind of like folding the chairs and putting everything away. He walked by and he goes, congratulations. Like before David said anything, I was like, oh, and he's like, well, I guess now's as good of a time as ever. And he just got down on his knee. Yes.
No, that person fucking ruined it.
No.
I would have been so pissed if I was your husband. Oh my God. Cause like, I love a surprise. Like surprises to me are like, there's nothing better than a good surprise. And the fact that I was so surprised, I was like, well done, cutie. And like, he also kept it a secret from everybody, which was like the key, because everyone thought they were coming to my birthday party. So if my birthday, because it was around my birthday. So if my birthday party got spoiled, that's okay. But and so nobody knew, not even my mom who was there. No. She didn't even know what was happening.
Did he ask your parents beforehand? Did he ask your parents?
No. So they like, really she's going to say yes.
She's fine. Take her. No. But yeah, wow. But what's so funny is like the day we were at the place where it happened, and I saw this bouquet of flowers on the table with a card under them. And without telling the story, it's kind of hard to explain why I wanted to look at the card, because I thought that I had to do something with this bouquet of flowers. I'm so glad I wasn't nosy and like scoot the card out to see who before because it says Arielle on it. But I didn't know that because I didn't even touch the bouquet of flowers that was on the table. But I was washing my hands and I was like, oh, pretty flowers. And I was like, maybe I should put those in some water. And I was like, no, those aren't mine. I'm just not going to touch them. But the reason why I thought that is because I was helping set up something secret.
Right.
And so, but somebody that was there hiding, brought them for me. And I would have opened them because I've been like, oh, it has my name on it.
Right.
And thank God I didn't, because it was like a congratulations card. And afterwards, when she handed me them, I was like, oh my God, I almost looked at that. And she was like, what? Oh my God, I left them in the kitchen. Holy shit. Like, yeah, it was a long
it's
story,
all moments that like are meant to be. You just
I know.
Things can change the course of anything, you know, so easily.
So
I have so many questions. I know we've only got like 10 minutes. So wait. Okay. So I need to ask about when you guys create content, a few things. One, when you guys create content, do you find that you ever go through creative blocks, or do you feel like you're kind of like, you come home and you're like, oh my God, I have this really good idea. I just saw this person in a car. And what if this idea, like, do you bounce ideas off each other? Do you ever get frustrated? It's like 10 questions in one. Do you ever get frustrated when you're working together, or is it always kind of like it works and it makes sense? Or do you kind of get frustrated? So it says 2 questions. How do you come up with your content, and do you get frustrated sometimes working together?
Yes. Okay. So, I'm just going to start by saying I am in a creative block right now.
I feel that way,
and I have been for like 2 years. Seriously. And like, sometimes I'll have like days where I'm like, ooh, I'm being hilarious, or like, oh, I have a great idea. But like, the past 2 years, because of what's been going on, like, and not having any inspiration from the outside world, like, we used to go to concerts, we used to go to friends' houses every night, we used to go to a bar, we used to go to a restaurant. Like, I don't do shit anymore. And so I truly am like, what am I pulling from now? Like, just our day on the couch and me on my computer working, and like, I can't like pull funny inspiration thing, and I don't have any inspiration. So yes, I feel very blocked at the moment, kind of. But I'm like, I just know that maybe I'm blocked because I'm supposed to be focusing on something else, which is like, I just launched a beauty line.
Your brow.
Yeah. So I just launched that. And I think like your body tells you stuff. So I've just been kind of like, maybe I'm not supposed to create content right now. Maybe I'm really supposed to focus on Rel. And then once I feel like that's launched with like a good like oomph, then I can like get back into like writing the scripts that I used to write and stuff. And with creating content, it does come from like real life. So like if Matt and I are in the car, and Matt is just a really funny person. And so he'll like say some dumb shit, and then we just keep the ball rolling, and then we're like, we need to film that. Like, we'll like,
so sometimes it's scripted and sometimes it's in the moment.
Sometimes it's in the moment, but we'll still write it before we shoot it, because we want to remember and make it better than how it actually happened. So like, so like, we'll write scripts on Final Draft or whatever, and then we'll shoot them and edit them. But whereas in the Vine days, we like didn't write anything. We would just be like, oh, that was funny. Let's do it again. And then you just do it again. And you're like, it's 6 seconds, whatever. But with Instagram and like feeling like you want to be a little bit more professional, and all these videos that are on Instagram now are so like fully produced and everything. I'm like,
you shoot on your iPhone, or are you shooting on a little, like a DSL camera?
No, I have, well, I have a Canon 7D. Oh no, an 8D and or an ADD. What ADD? What?
ADD. I have ADD too.
I have ADD.
Welcome to the club.
Isn't it an 8D or an ADD? I think it's in a 7D and an 8D. I have an 8D. There we go. Yeah. I think, I don't know, whatever. I'm not like a camera person.
And my boob size is
34C. So we have really nice cameras, and we like manage to work them somehow, because we've never taken a class. We like YouTube everything. And then we just edit our own videos on Premiere Pro and just do it somehow. I don't know.
Do you fight?
Oh my God. There's days where
this makes me feel so much better.
Oh my God. There's days where Matt's like, I need to shoot a video. And I'm like, don't even look at me. Like, I'm like, I don't want to be funny on certain days, or like or like, you just like don't have it in you. I never felt like that like 4 years ago. I was like, I'm ready to shoot all the time, every second of my life. But I think as I've gotten busier and I'm like exhausted so many ideas that I've already done, I'm like, I don't even know what to do anymore. And I get like bummed. And then I take it out on like poor Matt who just wants to shoot a video.
Like, I'm not funny anymore. I can't.
And I go through like waves of that. It's just kind of like day to day. But I mean, we get like so mad at each other. It's the best. But like it's like funny. Like we'll like get mad at each other, but it's actually like in a funny way. Like I don't think we've ever been in a real fight, which I hate fighting. I hate conflict. So we avoid that at all costs, but we definitely are like like sassy with each other for sure. Well, he's like, can you just do it? I'm like, okay, fine. Like
I said to my husband, I was like, I need the oven when I pull it down for the third take to be in the same position. Can you just hold the camera? He's like, you need to just get a fucking stand. I was like, yeah, but the stand's not accurate. Okay. So just hold it. It's behind the thing and up. And then he holds it. And then I'll go, can you just, and this is what we thought about. I go, can you move a little to the right? And he'll go like this. And I'll be, that is not a little, that is a lot.
Does he know how to shoot? Like, do you like what, like, is he
my
like,
husband is such a funny guy. He's a writer and a director.
Okay. Oh, so he knows how,
but he's not very like, the light is, he's not the technical, he's a writer and director creatively. Okay. It's not like, he's not like a DP. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. You know, it's like, so I feel so glad that I have someone like Matt, because he's so, I mean, he's literally good at everything. Like it's depressing. And like, he can write the funniest script, and then he can edit in 5 seconds, and he can shoot, and he can act, and and I'm just like over here picking my nose. And then I'm like, I want to shoot a skit. And then he's like, well, what's the idea? And I'm like, I don't know. Help me around it.
You come up with it.
Like, you do it. I don't know. And then he does it, and then I edit it. It's great. But like we definitely, the collaborative, it's super collaborative, and it's actually like, I'm so lucky to have him, because I don't know what I would do without him in this space. Like he just helps me so much. And I think vice versa too. I hope he would say the same thing, but like, I think he's just so good. Like he's just so good at everything.
Well, he seems very supportive of you too on Instagram, because he was using the Rel lip balm.
Oh, he's obsessed.
And what is he obsessed? Is this like, because one of my goals for 2022 is to get my skin like in check this year. Like I'm like,
your skin looks amazing.
Alcohol, oh my God, no, you're so sweet. Stop drinking alcohol.
Little tequila here and there. You know, well, I got a little puffy.
It actually hurt a lot of people. So wait, are you feel like you just like, what's happening? So what do you mean?
Like
it just
so many breakouts, like adult acne, rosacea, you know, it's like all the things are happening at one time. And I thought, I like getting out of the teenage years, I was like, okay, 20s are good, like skin's clear, you know, and then like all of a sudden, like growing up, it just like hits. And I'm like, what the fuck? So like, does Rel kind of like take care of all of that kind of stuff? Like, what are some of the
Rel is, we only have one product right now. The only product is the No Doubt Essential Lip Balm, and it is amazing. I'm gonna have to send it to you guys, because
does it come to Australia? We'll be back.
Honestly,
we'll be back in March.
I don't know if it does, because I think they like banned packages from the US right now.
What? Oh, they might have.
I think they did, because I haven't been able, I ship everywhere in the world except Australia won't accept packages anymore.
I hope they do. I'm like, there goes my brand deals.
Cannot do unboxing.
Oopsie. So, but yeah, it's just, we use all natural and organic ingredients in this, it's lip balm. So we have 6 different ones. One of them is a clear one, and then the rest are different shades. And they're all like, just really, all the shades came out of just wanting, like, I'm not like stoked on my natural lip color. I actually don't like it, but I mean, it's fine. But like when I wake up and I don't want to put a full face of makeup on, I always want a tint on my lips, but I don't want to put lipstick on. So I was like, okay, I'll just buy tinted chapstick. I tried every tinted chapstick in the book. I freaking hate all of them. And I was like, I can't believe that this doesn't exist, where it just feels like your lips. It doesn't feel sticky. It doesn't feel this. It doesn't feel that. So I created it. It took me swear 2 years to make. I made it during the pandemic, which definitely was the reason why it took so long. But I made it during the last 2 years, and it is so good. It is so pretty. It's like, I don't know, it's my favorite product I've ever had, especially
you
because
can probably put on your cheeks too, right?
Yeah.
You can put on your eyelids. Like I love those products.
Multi-use.
Definitely. Yeah. I've used it as blush, all the things. But yeah, it's so pretty. I'll have to send it to you guys, but it's, and then I have other products in the pipeline right now that are going to come out probably like, don't quote me, March, hopefully. So yeah, there's like some things that we're doing this year, which will be so good. And it's just, starting a business is insane. I've
Especially
never
in the
done
pandemic.
it.
Yeah.
Help.
There's
It's
a
so
lot
crazy.
I started a clothing line for kids, and we sold it because it just was it's so time consuming, you really.
When did you start that?
Oh God, way before the pandemic, like maybe
Oh, okay.
2016 when my first daughter was like 3.
Yeah.
And it was great. Like it made good money, but to really make extraordinary money, it would have to be full time. And
Totally.
being on set and being a mom and podcast, obviously you didn't have a podcast then, but just constant, working on social, like you just don't have that time. That's why I always think like starting with one thing and one product is great. And then you get that to being very successful. And then you can have more people and more like underneath you and employed. And then you can like branch out from there. But I like the idea of one thing first, doing that really well and then going from there. But I learned a lot doing that business. And I realized that you have to really love something with all your heart because, time is the only thing that I think we don't get back. And it's such a commodity. Like when you have kids, it's just, you're so time poor,
Yeah. Oh, I can't even imagine like a woman starting a business with a child. Like I don't even have a kid and I'm like, I can't do this. Like
would you and Matt maybe down the road? Is that something?
Oh yeah. Like I'm like, give me a baby right now. Like I want a baby right now. So bad.
Like I want it in me right now. The baby.
I want a baby right now. I'm having like baby fever for sure.
Yeah. You get into your 30s and you go,
I am like, I'm 35 and I'm just like, yo, I want to just like start that chapter because by the time, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't want to be like older and then have a baby. I mean, it's fine to do that, but I want the experience now. Like, I think there's so many women that like, if they wait, good for them. And they're okay with that. I want to start it now because I want to do the young things with me still feeling like, woohoo. Like I want to go on roller coasters, when I'm 45, I'm not going on a roller coaster ever again. Like I'm just not, I know for a fact I'm just not doing it. I am not going camping when I'm 45. Like I'm not doing that, but I'm also not doing that now. But the thing is like, I feel like I'm like more open to things right now, but maybe, maybe you're right. Maybe my whole life will change when I have a kid and I'm like, I'm gonna go on roller coasters. I'm gonna get in the mud.
You become such a child. I mean, you become, what do you think, Roxy? Like you feel so cautious, but also like, are like, fuck it. Just like, whatever.
You really start to give like less fucks. You're just kind of like, if it gets dirty, if I get dirty, if the kid's dirty, like I think at first you are so like scared. And
first child, especially like they fall and you go to the emergency. The second one falls and I'm like, is she having a seizure? No, we're good. We're fine.
Unless they're bleeding out their eyeballs, they're good.
I'm like, it'll stop. I'm like, my second one hurt herself the other day. I'm like, could use a stitch, but I think we're fine.
You have a sewing needle and a thread there, I'm sure.
I was like, it'll heal. I can't imagine a third. Like I'm thinking by this summer, and maybe Arielle, I'll like send you on my baby Juju. I'm like, by this summer, I'm going to decide to have a third or not. And then that's it. Then the shop is closed. Like I'm done.
Oh my God.
I have 2 girls and I'm like, are we going to have a third? Yeah. Cause I don't want to I'm in my 30s. So I would like to have all 3 of them in my 30s. And then if that's not going to be the case for me, then I'm done.
But are you sure the shop will actually be closed?
I mean, Lennon was like an accidental, like we had sex on my period and then we used protection like during ovulation and she was conceived. So I don't know. Maybe it's the postman's baby.
That's a strong swimmer.
Yeah.
She's like, they're like, when was she conceived? We're like, I don't know.
We don't have to talk about that.
We don't talk about that she looks nothing like her father.
Yeah. For sure.
This is lovely. Wasn't it, Rox?
I know. It's so good. It's so good. Well, yeah. So you have some things to look forward to, Arielle.
I honestly like that. To me is just like, that is the thing I'm looking the most forward to. I also like really want to adopt a kid.
Ooh,
like that is, I like dream about adopting kids, which is weird. I've had so many dreams where I have an adopted child, and I've always since I was a little kid thought I'm going to adopt a kid, and I still feel that way. And so like, I'm not, it's like, do I do that? I mean, I want to do both. So
yeah, maybe one of each.
We'll see. Yeah, I would love that. I feel like 2 kids is perfect. And like having one would be such a cool experience, but then also like being able to do that would be really rad. And I feel like it's like weirdly like a purpose of why I'm here or something. I don't know. Cause I think about it all the time.
I mean, birthing that child, like I thought so much more about life and death. And
I can't even imagine
when you see it's weird, like you're pregnant and you're like, oh, there's a human in there, but you're like, wait, there's a human being in my stomach. And then when that human comes out of your, like you actually see, because you can't obviously physically see your child other than scans. And then they have like eyeballs and they have like fingers. Like
you created it.
Yeah. And you just talk about it like it's like normal. But like, don't you remember, Roxy, when that, like, I remember looking in her eyes and I was like, we fucking made eyeballs. we made eyeballs. Like,
why is that
made
so
eyeballs?
Funny?
Yeah,
it is, and she's gonna see the world because we made eyeballs. Like I just kept saying it over and over again. It was just it's wild.
That is
can't
the
really
sweetest thing ever.
Put it into words, but and then they're downstairs right now, just the bane of my existence right now.
Yes.
Oh
it
my
goes
God.
From love to hate quickly.
That is so funny. Oh my God. That's so fun that you have kids. I love it. Oh, I'm jealous. I love it.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully maybe you and your hubby or fiance, whatever, you'll come back. Maybe
We'd
pregnant.
Love to. Oh my God. Can you imagine next time I'm like, guess what, guys?
I got nugged up and it's twins.
Nope. Just Pizza Hut.
I don't know why you sound like that. I got nugged up.
I just turn into a different human. I'm all hillbilly.
Yeah, like my husband.
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
It's so crazy. I'm realizing like, so I mean, this is like such a weird thing to say at this moment, but I watched Pretty Little Liars, and it's so funny that I'm talking to you because like watching you in that show, like you're literally terrifying. And then like seeing you, like you know what I mean? Like that was such
put the glasses on.
Please God, no. Please don't do that to me right now.
I'll start sending you videos by DM with my glasses.
Please God, don't. Because like
I'm going to.
Like that is like such a I feel like I'm interviewing you now, but it's like so crazy because like you're so it's acting.
Such a different person. I know.
Different person. And it's
but am I?
Are you? Are you? Can you see me? It's just oh God, don't do that. Anyways. Oh my God, stop. Literally.
Put the glasses on and be like, I can smell a bitch a mile away.
I love this shit. No, but for real, it's like, what a crazy, wow. I don't know. I just realized that that's you. And I was like, wait a minute, that's pretty insane.
Life is weird.
Good job, lady.
Roxy, Roxy thinks this every day of her life.
I know. I'm like, it's her. It's her.
It's her. No, she doesn't. She's like so mean to me. She's like, are you fucking ready? Get on the No, she's
I'm in the waiting room.
She's like, what time is it? What time is it?
Yeah, I love you guys.
Oh,
you can't get your Zoom
treatment here.
No, Roxy, the reason I'm friends with Roxy is because she treats me like nothing special.
I love it.
I'm like, Tampa, get your shit together.
Yeah. The other day I was like, there's no internet. She's like, oh, really? Again?
It's like, well,
she's not nice. My husband, my parents, and Roxy treat me like shit. So other than that, we're good.
There you go.
No, she doesn't treat me like shit. 200 episodes in. I'm still back. I'm still here.
200?
Yeah, 200.
Dear God. Freaking.
We're going to go on tour this year.
Badasses.
So we are going on tour.
Cool. Oh my God. I'm so excited for you guys. You guys are so awesome. And I'm just like, I feel so honored to be here. Thank you.
Well, hopefully I'll run into you in Los Angeles when we're back one day, because we'll be back. You know, we know so many of the same people too. It's wild.
I know.
Crazy.
I love it.
It's crazy how that works.
Well,
So can you just tell everyone where they can obviously find you? I mean, I'm sure they know, but like, and also where they can find your products and everything else you have going on.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm on Instagram at Arielle. It's just my first name. And then relbeauty.com is my new clean beauty, vegan, cruelty-free line that I know for a fact you will love. And and then Rel Beauty if you want to follow us on Instagram.
And aren't you also the host of like a million things right now?
Oh yeah. Should I mention
that little chestnut?
So, well, I do host a show called Love Island, but we're not sure if we're getting picked up for a 4th season yet, but there are 3 seasons that we've done, and I think you can find all of those.
Podcast.
That show is fun. Yeah. You know, we do have a podcast. It's called Riled Up with Matt and Arielle, or Riled Up with Arielle and Matt, but we haven't done it in a while, but it's still on all the podcast places. We just need to start it up again.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks guys.
A lot of people listen.
It's fun. It's like, we have so much fun. We're freaking idiots, but you know, who isn't?
Yeah.
Well, we love you guys, and we're so grateful that you came on the show. I finally got you, because I think I messaged you like I don't know 2 years ago.
I also like I felt like such a dumbass when I like saw it. I was like, what is this? I like saw it and I was like, oh my God, I gotta write this girl back. I was like, she's so cute. Oh my God, wait, that's the girl from, oh my God, wait, what?
It's been 2 years. I was like, hey, if you'd like to come on the show. And then Arielle writes back, I know this is a little late.
Yeah. I'm like, are you still doing your pod?
Time.
See, it's never too late to send a text or a DM, you know?
I am so sorry for the delay, but I'm so glad it worked out.
So sorry for the delay.
It's a time difference. It's a time difference.
Yeah. So sorry for the 2-year delay. I'm gonna use
better late than never.
Oops. I hate that. I hate it so much. I'm sorry. But we're here now, and I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And guys, you can find us on Women on Top Official on Instagram
and Women on Top Podcast on Facebook. And we have a clubhouse group too, Women on Top. And don't forget to rate,
subscribe, and comment.
So smash that like.
Yeah, doing a thing.
I love you guys. I am Tammin Sursock.
And I am Roxy Manning.
And we are
Women on
Take it away, Arielle.